So, welcome to story time. This is the first story time I've done, and I didn't really have anything to record today. I'm just knocking out some cardio right now. I didn't have anything to record because my car is in the shop. Had to get a pretty pricey repair done to it, but it's okay. We'll see. But that is actually what the story time is about. So, let's get right into it. So the car I have right now is the BMW 335i. I love the car. It's fun. It's fast, somewhat. I don't really know too much about cars, but I enjoy driving it. Originally, I had a car, a very crappy car. It was something that I was just driving around to drive. I didn't really care what I drove, and it didn't have too many problems. I had the car for about a year and a half. It was a really crappy, honestly, I don't even know. I think it was a 2002 or 3 Chevrolet Cavalier, and it was just a beat down car. Nothing too crazy about it. But the car was pretty good itself. You know, it drove, it didn't really have too many problems, just kept up the maintenance and it was good. But, you know, as everyone does, they want to get something better and something, you know, honestly more reliable, and that is my current car, the BMW. So, before I got my BMW, what happened was I was driving my Chevy Cavalier, and there were some problems with it. Now, a while back, someone in the middle of the night just drove and knocked my side mirror off, and the replacement was way too much money for that type of car. I didn't want to put money into a car that I didn't really care about. So I never really got the mirror fixed. It was just missing a mirror for a few months. It's actually legal, but it's considered unsafe, so you can actually still get a ticket for it. This is way too hard to talk and do cardio. I'll save the cardio for when I'm done. I'm gonna stop doing cardio. So I had the mirror missing, and then all of a sudden, you know, my muffler started rattling. In the last maybe 2 months I had the car, which is normal. And then about a week towards the end of my time with that car, the muffler strap, the strap that holds it in, actually broke off, and it was literally almost hanging on the ground. Now, besides that, I had a taillight that just went out that I didn't know about, and it was just being very loud because of the muffler and stuff like that. So the car was literally just it looked like I put it together with my bare hands made out of random miscellaneous parts. One day I was driving to work, and I pulled up, and right next to where I worked there was a light, and I had to turn to get into the parking lot. At that moment, a police officer drives by, pulls me over, and I'm like, what the heck? I wasn't speeding and I didn't do anything. And at the back of my mind, I knew exactly what it was for. And you guessed it, he gave me a repair order for my car. Now, the car itself, I would estimate to be, at that time, worth at the most, maybe I could sell it for maybe $1,000. That's how bad of shape it was in. And, you know, the engine was fine, it was just those parts that were annoying. What he wrote me up on the repair order for was 4 different things. Some of the stuff I listed in one other thing I didn't even mention, which I forget about right now. The total cost for all those repair parts are $1,300. So I literally would have been spending more on the parts than I would have than the car is worth. So I said, no, scratch that. I said, what if I just go and buy a new car right now? What happens then? He said, that's fine. All I have to do is get my tags transferred and all that. I said, okay, cool. So yeah, I'm not gonna do the repair. I'm just gonna get a new car and that'll be fine. He said, yeah. So that's what I went to do next. So I've always known I wanted a German car from day one. My dream car, my very realistic dream car, is an Audi R8. I think it's more common than it was when I first started to really love them, but it's always been that car I really wanted. I definitely want to work towards that car within the next few years. So for the next few weeks after I got that repair order, and I knew I wasn't going to actually do the repair order, I started browsing cars. I looked on the internet, I was going to get a new car, but I thought it's kind of dumb to get a new car right now because I know I'm going to get a different car within 2 years just because that's how I am. And the second you drive that car off the lot, you lose $10,000 practically immediately. So it's just dumb to get a car. I would rather just have a used car with low mileage. It just makes more sense. So that's what I got. Now, when I was doing that, I was looking at Audis and BMWs because I just wanted a German car. You know, a lot of people think it's dumb to get that kind of car, but I'm not materialistic at all. If you look at how I spend my money, it doesn't make sense for me to get that car, but it's more practical. I don't really buy anything that I don't necessarily need. You know, I have more of an expensive lifestyle because of the bodybuilding and stuff. Not necessarily the food, but supplements and everything, you know. So I naturally have to spend more money than the average person, but I also, I have the proper mindset to when, if I need money, I'll make it. So with that being said, I believe if you're not materialistic, you should at least be able to enjoy your car. You know, I work very hard at what I do, so I want to be able to at least enjoy my drive to the gym and stuff, and I think, honestly, the car was a good investment. But the story that no one knows, and which is what I'm getting to, is that this current car was actually my second choice. So I narrowed all my car choices down to about 3 different cars. I only ended up test driving 2 of them, and out of those 2, I just test drove 1 car and then my current car. Now, I went to the BMW place first, And that's where I test drove this one. I absolutely loved it, felt great, clutch was good, everything was good about the car. I thought the price was pretty good, and it is. So then I drove 2 hours. This is where the story gets interesting. I drove 2 hours all the way up to New Jersey. I'm not gonna name the dealership just because I think that would be, I don't know, I don't wanna get in trouble, but I drove 2 hours all the way up to this dealership. It's an Audi dealership in New Jersey. Now, when I did that, I knew exactly what car I was looking for. I saw the car, I absolutely loved it. I was very hesitant on getting it just because it was silver. It was a 2013 to 2012 Audi A4. It had like 50,000 miles on it. Thing was perfect, had like perfect maintenance record. Everything about it, there was literally no downsides. There wasn't a scratch on the car, like brand new tires, it brakes, everything was perfect. Price was unbelievably good. I literally, after calling my brother who owns an Audi, so I was asking questions and stuff, and calling the dealership back and forth, negotiating prices, and literally all my life I've worked in sales, so I know how to get around stuff. So I was using a lot of sales tactics to try to get them to lower the price, and I got the BMW lowered by about $2,000. I was also using the same tactics on the Audi guy, and the Audi guy works at a new car dealership, so his margins are a little less on what he makes. I don't know much about the car business, but I'm pretty sure that used cars salesmen have more commission than new car salesmen. So the guy told me straight up front, he's pretty willing to work with the price because he's not going to make much money off it at the end of the day. So he's not too worried about it because he might lose 20 or 40 bucks. Like, it's really not going to make a difference to him. So I was like, okay, cool. I said, will you be able to do this price? And the price I gave him was something that I felt very comfortable with. It included tax, titles, tags, everything I would need, so I just pay one price and everything's taken care of, which is what I thought was a good deal. And he matched it. He literally, at first he said, whoa man, he was like, I can be flexible, but he said, that's pretty low. So I was like, can you call your manager and ask him or something like that? So he called his manager, and his manager was like, does he have the money? And he was like, yeah, he has it all right here. So he was like, all right, we can do it. And I was like, okay, that's pretty awesome. So yeah, so originally, this whole entire time I'm talking about where he called his manager, that was at the dealership in New Jersey. It's about 2 hours away. So I thought about it for a few more minutes. I really talked to I brought my friend with me who drives a BMW, who has some knowledge about German cars and stuff. So the next thing that happened, it blew my mind, and it will blow my mind forever. And I think it's today why I'm having such bad luck with my current car. I literally, after everything I thought about everything. I did so many Google searches and really thought about this decision. So the guy wasn't even trying to sell me at all. He didn't do anything to try to convince me. We test drove the car. He just asked me straight up, like, hey, do you want this? Because like I said, at the end of the day, he knew he wasn't going to make a lot of money off of it. It was a used car at a new car dealership, so it was something that they just kind of like try to get rid of them to save space on the lot. But it was such a beautiful car, it was perfect. So I literally, after everything I thought about, I finally made my decision right then and there, 2 hours away from my house, and I said, all right, I'm gonna buy this car. I shook the guy's hand, was super excited, fist bumped my friend. I was like, yes, it was a manual Audi, it was all-wheel drive, it was perfect. And I was stoked. I'm pretty sure it even had like tinted windows already, and yeah, it was great. So this is where it gets really interesting. So after I shook the guy's hand for the car, he went and grabbed paperwork. I was doing a little bit of paperwork, and then all of a sudden we hear some guy yelling, and it's one of his coworkers. It's like someone's a little bit higher above than him, and he was yelling. He was like, wait, what are you doing? What are you doing? And we were like, what? I was like flipping out. I thought I got in trouble or something. And he goes, that car was sold last week. The guy's waiting to pick it up. Dude, do you know how confused I was at that moment? I literally drove 2 hours to this dealership to pick out this car that I've been looking at for a week. Loved it, absolutely didn't find anything wrong with it. It was like a clear buy over the other one. When he said it was sold, my freaking stomach was just like I got the biggest stomach ache, like my head started hurting. I was like, what are you talking about? And so he was like, oh my God. They were like, what can we do? So I was like, can you just tell the guy that already purchased it, that like you already sold it to me, and just switch the scenario around, because I'll buy it right here today. I'll get this thing and drive it home right now. And he was like, oh, we can't do that, all the paperwork's already filled out. I was like, okay. They were super apologetic, they handled the situation very well. And that's actually what brought me to the title of this video. They were like, look, because of this, we want to give you some money just to, for the traveling and your time. So they gave me a check for $100, which I thought was pretty good, because I probably only spent like 40 traveling up there. It was a huge letdown, but I told the guy, I was like, look, like in a few years, my realistic goal is to buy this Audi R8, and I'm gonna buy it from you, because I really liked the way they handled the situation, and the guy was cool. He wasn't trying to sell me, he wasn't trying to like show me any other cars or anything sketchy at all. So I was like, look, like, and they had a crazy nice dealership. So I was like, look, I'll buy, when I come and buy my Audi, I'm gonna buy it from you. So he was like, all right, deal. I still have his card and everything. But yeah, they handled the situation well. I got paid $100 to go look at a car, basically. So following that, I thought at that moment, you know, maybe that's a sign. Maybe it's a sign that if I drove that car, something bad would happen. It would have crashed, would have had a bunch of problems, etc. You know, parts for Audis are pretty expensive, so that was really the only downfall with that car, is that the parts are maybe a tad bit more expensive than BMWs because they're a little less common. I was so devastated. The whole 2-hour ride home, I was just like straight-faced, like, God. But I mean, I couldn't be that mad. The car I have now is a little bit faster because it's twin turbo. I don't really know too much about cars, like I said, but that's what I'm assuming. And the car I have now is like 330 horsepower, and I believe Audi was like 2 something. So, but either way, it's all-wheel drive, so it kind of felt the same. So I called the guy, and I was like, look, I was like, is that deal still on? He was like, yeah. I was like, I need to get this car because, I didn't tell him this, but in my head I was like, I need to get this car because I have the repair order that's due in like 3 days, and I'm not gonna get the car fixed, so I need to buy a car now. So I was like, look, it's my last option. So I went to him at the dealership and I bought the BMW. It took forever. They had horrible service, but the car is a great car. Problem is, I guess I'm having bad luck with it. And in the 3 months I've had this car, I've had 2 speeding warnings, which is 100% my fault, I understand, but usually I'm very, very like lucky with that kind of stuff. I've had a flat tire out of the random, like not even in an area where anything could possibly flatten my tire. And it didn't even just like flatten my tire, it just blew a hole completely in it. I had a rock come up and scratch like a 6-inch scratch that you can really only see in the proper lighting, like on the side of the car. There was like a big pothole in the road I couldn't see at night, and when I was turning as it happened, and when I turned and hit the pothole, I have a pretty low car, so there was the road was actually going up on a turn, so it was like a turn that was going up, and there was a pothole. So when I did that and I was turning, the little side part of my car like scraped against the road as I was turning because it was going down as it was supposed to be going up. And so there's like a scuff mark on the side. And then finally this $1,200 repair that I have to get done right now that's in the shop today. I picked the car up tomorrow. So out of all of these things in a 3-month time frame on a car that's practically just getting broken in, it's drives perfect and everything, in my sense, I think I'm getting cursed. It's like the car wasn't meant to be, the Audi was the car I was supposed to get, it was my second choice. The car is basically saying like, why was I your second choice? Why wasn't the Audi your second choice? And it's like getting payback, and it's just making me mad. So yeah, I've had all these problems with my car, and personally, I don't really think it's, you know, people have problems with their cars. It's normal, it's annoying, but it's normal. And I just think that it's a little bit excessive, I think, for my car. I've only had it for about 3 months. I don't know, it's very annoying to deal with, but I'm thinking it's just an excessive amount of bad luck from not having it as my first choice. I think it was like, you traitor, and now it's like making all these problems happen. So honestly, in the past like 24 hours, I've thought about selling it just because like, what could possibly go wrong next? You know, what is my engine gonna freaking explode next? Or I don't know, someone's gonna like T-bone me. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I've had some extreme bad luck with this car so far. I love driving it, it's super fun. It looks nice. I love the car, it's just, I don't know what to expect next time. Every time I sit in it now, I'm probably gonna feel like super like afraid that something's just gonna randomly happen. Not like an accident, but more just like mechanical issues. I have a few cars in mind for my next upgrade. I'm definitely aiming to upgrade within the next year. Just because, like I said, if there's one thing I'm gonna spend my money on, it's gonna be a nice car, because I really like to enjoy my drive when I'm traveling to go do something. If I'm going to the gym, it's good for my mindset. If I'm going to, you know, if I have an office space, I'm going to office space to work, I want to be able to enjoy my drive to and from work, because I think it would make you more productive, work harder, puts you in a better mood. So I think it's a good investment in a sense. Plus, people spend their money so stupidly. Like, they might look at my car and be like, why do you have that? You can just buy like any car. But then I look at them like, why do you buy those shoes? Why do you buy those clothes? Why do you buy way more groceries than you need? Like, people spend their money more dumb in different areas, and when they see something that's like a single item and they think it's really, I don't know, it's different. So yeah, moral of the story, drove all the way up to New Jersey, 2 hours away to look at a car, was super decked out, had everything you could possibly imagine, perfect car, shook the guy's hand to buy it, he said it was sold, I was sad, but they gave me a $100 check just for my time, and I have a good connection with the Audi dealership now, so I'll be sure to use them in the future. And then, so I drove back because I only had one choice left, and it was this BMW that I currently have, so I bought it because I needed to get a car before my repair order was due, and I finally got the car, and it was pretty good at first. All these problems started happening, and my hypothesis is that the car has this evil energy with it, and now all this bad luck is happening because I drive this car. So that's the moral of the story. I'll keep you guys posted if anything else goes wrong, but I'll be getting my car back tomorrow, and I'm excited to be able to drive. And the guy said there's really nothing else wrong with it that he can see, so that's pretty good. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. Please share it if you enjoyed. Hit the thumbs up button, of course. Subscribe if you have not already, and you'll be seeing a video every day at 8 a.m. But I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Thanks for watching. And if you have any workout questions, diet questions, any fitness related questions, shoot me an email, it's in the description. And I'm also doing online coaching. And if you want to get in shape for summer or anything, it's in the description as well. Thanks.
Step into the mind of a young man, and if you don't, then I don't really give a damn. All I wanna do is make you understand, but if you don't wanna listen, I guess you ain't a part of the plan. Sorry if I digress.